On a freezing March afternoon in 1998, Martin Mudie was renewing the heavy wooden fenders on the wall at Perth harbour. To reach the fenders, he'd tied himself to a ladder, which was lashed to a forklift truck.
And it's actually stopped at 24 minutes past 4, the time he went in the water.
You pass me the sledge down, Andy?
Was it the chap that fell in the water? Couldn't find him.
I've got something. Right, get out. Right. You go down the ladder. That's it, yeah. There's some weight. The ladder. He's on the end of the ladder.
As help arrived, rescuers could see Martin's body still attached to the ladder. But 15 minutes had passed before they finally managed to get Martin's face above the water.
He didn't look that great. He was very pale, very blue. He basically looked dead. It was difficult in the water because I was actually holding on to him with just one hand while I was holding on to one of the dock ladders with my left hand. By that time I was really starting to feel the cold.
Angus, get to your lines. Get harnesses on.
Brian's heroic action was the first link in a chain of care.
Right, Gary, you go down the side. Gus, you take the weight in the line. Fraser, give him a hand. That's an update. Person has been located in the water as yet not out of the water. Let's get him up. Let's get that line out. Let's get him up. Try and keep pulling that ladder up. Take it easy.
Total chaos as we arrived, fire service and some of the onlookers.
In any accident, the first person on the scene has a life-saving role. Brian Meldrum had done his bit, now it was the turn of the ambulance crew.
We decided that the best way to do this was to get Martin on board.
Martin showed no signs of life, but another link in the so-called chain of survival was in place.
I was working in the back with the patient, sitting in the attendant seat. And every time our driver was braking, there was so much water lying about.
Perth 460, that's us coming up from Perth harbour. This is a drowning incident. 20 minutes now.
In the service we talk about the chain of survival, that providing that that chain is never broken, then the chances of survival are far greater. Okay, he's on an orthopaedic stretcher, so
he was in a very poor condition when he arrived. He was soaking.
Count to 3, 1, 2, 3.
Still wearing all his clothes. He was very cold, he was blue.
Approximately 20 to 25 years of age.
And he was in a state of cardiac arrest, and the ambulance crew were administering basic life support.
20 minutes, okay. Can we connect these warm fluids, please?
We felt that if we kept going, we might be able to resuscitate him.
Right. Let's get the adrenaline in and get him off these.
This man came out in all intents and purposes not having any signs of life. However, his cardiac arrest is a cardiac arrest in a special circumstance.
Okay, charge to 200.
Charging at 200. All clear.
Clear.
Yes.
Okay, let's check the pulse again. Okay, we're still in VF. 200 again.
All clear.
Okay, good. Okay, right, carry on with CPR.
After about 35 minutes, we managed to get a stable heart rhythm, although he wasn't breathing for himself, and because of his very poor condition, we felt it was necessary to take him around to intensive care.
My husband and I, both of us, were in a state of shock, although at that time we didn't know what had actually happened.
We had him stabilised on the ventilator in intensive care, and I felt at that point that I could leave and go and speak to his mother.
I got a shock. Any other time I've been involved with doctors, nurses, it's basically take this cough bottle and you'll be all right.
Some bad news, I'm afraid. Martin is critically ill at the minute in intensive care.
I got a shock at how the doctor painted a very black picture, basically saying that he didn't think Martin would survive.
We're not sure whether there's going to be any lasting brain damage or not.
I felt as if somebody had hit me in the stomach and I couldn't breathe.
And so machinery and intensive care and critical care management is all important then.
I am religious, and I just held the picture of Martin. Strength of will that he needed to pull himself through this ordeal. The doctors kept saying that they didn't really hold up much chance of Martin actually surviving the night. A very stubborn person, even from a tiny baby. Martin has a very strong will. You know, he would fight as much as he could.
Martin.
It's open wide. That's it, well done.
6 days later, Martin left hospital with no memory of the accident.
Okay, Martin, here we go. That's it. Just going to
He couldn't remember actually even being at the harbour all week.
That's
he said that he'd never been at Perth Harbour.
When I woke up in the hospital, I was taken aback a bit because just didn't believe it, basically. Just not actually read the newspaper to believe it.
He progressed far more rapidly than any of the intensive care doctors at the time thought he would.
Thank you sounds very trivial for what they actually did, but they have given us all a second chance, especially Martin.
And the reluctant hero Brian Meldrum received an award from the Royal Humane Society and a medal from Tayside Police for his actions in helping to save Martin Mudie's life.